Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and this is week number 11, and this is the beginning of season number 3. It's a lower league manager series. So we have started in the GP3 category, so the third division of the open wheel racing category or single-seater series. It's the Formula One Season 2017 mod that I'm playing with, and my team had a decent pair of drivers in the opening season, but everything else was absolute garbage. We managed a few results, but we almost went into full-on bankruptcy. So at the end of the season, we purged, we let everybody go, drivers, staff, pit crew, and then the only thing that we brought on besides those rolling contract $1,000 per race minimum quality individuals were 2 drivers, Pick and Quinn. Pick and Quinn, not much in terms of quality, though at least better than that $1,000 per race rolling contract type racer. While not offering much in skill, both of them came to the team with very, very high marketability. That was the whole point of signing them. They brought in a lot more money than they cost us in terms of sponsorships. So within the GP3 category, we are second when it comes to sponsors. Now, a year on, after the second season, they really, really struggled. We only had one top 10 finish the entire season, and we nearly got fired. The expectation from the chairman was 8th place on the season, and we were dead last as a team, Constructors' Championship 10th place, and we could not manage that, but slowly but surely, while it dropped, it didn't drop rapidly, so we were able to retain our job. Now, while we saved a whole bunch of money, we saved the team from financial ruin, we made huge progress in terms of building a better headquarters, which now went from dead last to 6th in the field, and we have a test track being constructed right now to continue that process this year. But we have made one improvement. Our staff is still dead last. However, we did finally bring in a lead designer. So these two are still the rolling contracts. You can see their quality is awful. 413041, 410102. Paulo Daoust comes in pretty decent. He is awful when it comes to rear wings, but we have spec wings, front and rear, in this league. So he comes in with strong quality for engine building and suspension building, and is okay when it comes to the gearbox. And the brakes were spec last year, but they are not spec any longer. It will cost us $68,000 per race, and we did pry him away from one of the other teams in our league, and we're paying him a lot more than he was. Actually, no, we're paying him less than he was over there. So we got a pretty good deal on that. And a long-term contract. He'll be with us for the next 3 years. So what he brings is a lot better potential in the improvement of parts over the season. Now, speaking of parts, our car is still awful. We are the worst on the grid. But this is the year where we can really start to see some improvement. Last year, we saw a little bit of improvement upon the car. That improvement carries over into this year. The first year, we weren't able to improve the car. So we were never going to get better at the rate we were going, especially when we were broke. So what we had to do, that purge at the end of the first year, was vital to the growth of the team in the long term. So, excuse me, this year, our engine, our acceleration, our braking is the only thing that's not last. However, these were all stock parts going into this season, so everybody's the same essentially. And our medium speed corners. So all the 3 that mattered carry over. Still dead last. Only a little bit of sign in the gearbox. The acceleration is somewhere. but our improvability this year is much, much, much better. If we look at, there we go, our team, our chassis, last year, as part of that purge, everything was the cheapest, the very, very weak. So tire wear, heating, fuel efficiency, and improvability were all minimal. This year, I invested a little bit more money. Cost us about twice what it did a year ago, which was 3.5. This year it cost us about $7.5 million. But our improvability, especially, is much better this year. So our parts can be improved upon over the course of the season. That'll be a big objective for this year, is to get this car more competitive as the year goes on and maybe get out of that last place spot. I think we're still at least one season away from competing, and our chairman objective this year is still dead last 10. To get ready for this first race, after the preseason testing and that chassis was ready, we only had 11 days to get ready for this first race. And this first race largely comes down to reliability, as everybody's parts are pretty weak. So a lot of cars will not finish this race or have lengthy pit stops to repair parts. So I'm taking all the parts that will go on Arthur Pick's car and working on their reliability with everybody we've got available. And so we took one part from each of the non-spec. All the spec parts are at 80% reliability already, which we'll have to do for now. And so we've gone from around 50% on every part up to almost being reliable. Everything's 75 to 78% overall, and we'll get those finished up in the near future. So Pick, hopefully, we'll be able to get through this race without any reliability issues, and should be able to gain some positions over other cars that won't be in that same boat. But meanwhile, Quinn's car, 50% reliability kind of across the board. So Quinn's car, Quinn's probably going to struggle in this first race. Might have a lengthy pit stop at the end of the race, and in fact, if they're running in the very back of the field, I might use that lengthy pit stop to fix all the parts right before the race ends, so that we can save our staff here, so that they can get back to work on reliability improvements, performance improvements quicker after the race. All right, well, speaking of race, we need to get to it. One other area that I'm starting to make improvements is the pit crew. We're not last anymore. In fact, we're up to 7th out of the 10 teams. I've added a couple of pit crew members, but at this point I'm still not looking for anything outstanding, and really couldn't even do anything outstanding if I wanted. You look at what I have available, it's not good. Not good at all. But I am going to start focusing on trying to get a little bit more out of the pit crew than I did in the past. So I'm going to spend a little more here. I'm going to spend a lot more on the car this year and try to get this team competitive, because the headquarters part is coming along. I still don't want to spend a lot on replacing, especially Quinn, who's not a very good driver. Pick's not a good driver either. But if we were to replace Quinn with somebody who's equally marketable but better driver, we will certainly do that next year, but I don't think we'll do that this year. You look at both of them are in that final year of their contracts, but neither one's earning a whole lot of money. So we're definitely saving when it comes to having these guys on the team. All right, well, let's get to it. We're heading to Tondela in Portugal for the opening race of season number 3 in this Lower League Manager Series GP3 category, season 2017 Formula 1 mod. All right, so I don't think we're looking at a top 6. However, Pick could surprise a lot of people if say 10 cars have reliability issue and he's able to beat a few cars on the track. We might just be able to crack the top 6, and there's a huge money difference between these two. So we're gonna skip that 75,000 minuscule bonus, and we'll aim for the better bonus, though I doubt we're gonna be able to finish that high. All of last season, We managed a single top 10, and it was 7th place. But the car is as good as it was at the end of the year, minus the reliability part. All right, now we want to make sure all the best parts are on Pick's car so that he doesn't have reliability issues. And that was almost the case. There we go. One small change. Quinn, not very happy with the car. Pick, not happy with the car. That's just where we were at last year, though. All right, this year we are adding one more race to the calendar. And then we are adding ERS. So the energy recovery system has been added to the GP3 category in rule changes voted on by the team managers last year. That is for race day only and will not affect us during this practice session. These are very quick practice sessions and there is no qualifying, so it's reverse order. So with kind of the random start on the first race of the season, there's no telling where we're going to be until we get there. So we might actually have an unfortunate start near the back of the grid. Alright, well, downforce is going to be very high in this race, so we need to make sure the other car is well over here as well. Speed balance and handling both to the right, and we are very poor on tires, and I did not deal with that this year, so we're going to be probably running the second of the 2 tire compounds throughout the season. Alright, now this was all the way over, so I assume it's going to be well over here as well. Speed balance looks like it's actually going to be somewhere in the near the middle, because I believe Pix was kind of in this range here. So we might be pretty close. Yeah, there you go. See, this whole area is grayed out. This area is grayed out, which means we're somewhere in this middle. So speed balance shouldn't be terribly far off. Handling is pretty broad range, but downforce is definitely going to be in this small area. Alright, they're both running mediums, which is what I want, and we're going to take practice. Now, my number one objective here is to get the setup right. There are bonuses that can come out for race day, and they are certainly helpful. But I need to get the setup right, and that does give us an edge over some of the other cars who might not be able to do that. So even though we are not on a hot lap, we are just on an out lap, I'm going to bring the cars right back in, because just taking those corners and warming the car up is enough for them to give us some feedback on what adjustments need to be made. And nice, we have an excellent start to our setup. We are already at 92% just from the get-go. So no major changes are going to be necessary. So we'll add a little more downforce. We want to add a little more speed. And do I want to add... Might as well trying to go for it here. So there we go. Good, excellent, good for Quinn. So both cars above 90% on the very first time around the track. This is going to give us a decent chance to maybe get to 2 bonuses in this race if we can get this setup down early. So we're going to continue to push that way. We want to keep that handling spot on where it was, which is right where it is right now. So we'll try this setup. That'll save 5 seconds for Quinn, only making 2-part adjustments instead of 3. And we're going to hurry on out. Now Quinn is the car out in front. Both cars are going to come right back in again, though. We want to get this setup down and then get them out there racing. Alright, so we retained that excellent, but both of the other 2 parts went the wrong way. So we need to go right and left of the original spot. So we're going to go right, and we want to go left. That was good. We still need to go further. There we go. And the handling is still right in the middle, which is where I want it. That's good. Alright, we'll try that. And we're great, okay for pick. So one part went the right way. Maybe. So I need to go more left, more right. And we want to go back towards this edge. More left, more right. Well, it was great in the first place. The other car had to go the other direction. I wonder if we do need to go the other direction. Let's see. There we go. I've had plenty of setups that were right to that edge. Okay, now we're right back where we were on the handling, so we want to bring that just a hair left, and the speed balance needs to go all the way to the edge. Okay. Now the handling I needed to get over. But we could give it, well, we already knew where it was, and it wasn't quite right. But it's close. I guess we'll leave that. Pick will be the one to save 5 seconds this time. Alright, both cars back out on the track. No, we have not run laps yet. Let's do so this time. They're on the hot lap now. And there you go. And now we'll bring them in. Time's starting to run a little low. But we did get our first setup level. Alright, great, excellent, great. Setup's looking pretty good, 95%. Could still do a little bit better. Alright, so we can go a hair more to the right. And we want to bring the speed balance a little over. There's the handling right where it was. Okay. Quentin's going to head back out. Still not quite there for pick, but we are up to 95% now. The downforce is just right. Speed balance is very close. And the direction we have to go is pretty obvious. It's only going to be a minor adjustment. Meanwhile, we need to bring the handling to the left. So, there's handling left, speed balance right. I kind of want to bring that a little bit more. There you go. Alright. That should do it. Alright, we're going to let them go ahead and run the course. Looks like they're going to get their hot laps in, but nothing more. It's not going to be enough to get level 2 unlocked. Ooh, one car is getting around a second time. That's Quinn. So a bonus lap for Quinn there. Alright, well, no surprise. We're the last cars on the grid. That's pretty standard, especially in practice. It's nice to see that we're so bad in practice, but then we get out on race day and use tactics and perform a little bit better. All right. I like the pit stop bonus. I think it saves a little more than that 5% does. But that's hard to say, especially when we will be running the mediums throughout the race. I do need to get that adjusted. Both cars are on the wrong tires right now. Pretty sure we should have a dry race throughout. Alright, we're going to get this set up. It looks like we got one car right. 99% for Arthur Pick. We need to get the right tires on though. 10 laps of fuel. 5 laps needed to make it to the end, so nobody's going on a one-stop strategy today. We actually dropped to our setup dropped a bit, so let's see, we could go a little more right on the downforce, and we definitely want to get that speed balance over, so that's that way. And downforce, we want to go a little more right. Okay, that should boost us up a bit. We were great right there, and only good here. So we might not be excellent on everything, but that should get us up to 97% or better, because we were at 95. We're pushed over the other way. We lost 1%. We'll at least pick up 1% or 2. Okay, we need those medium tires. Alright, cars are ready to go. We are definitely having a 2 pit stop strategy, so there's no point saving everything. So we'll turn that fuel... No, I'm not going to... I'm not going to turn that fuel burn on for Quinn. Looking at our grid position, we get the proverbial shaft in this race. The random start in the first race of the season, 15th and 18th. So we're going to have a tough go today. Quinn, I'm going to keep that engine mode down because actually I need to keep it down on both cars. I think Pick can make it without having to stop to fix parts. Quinn probably can't. Quinn's probably going to have to fix some parts, so maybe I'll turn the fuel up, anticipating that I'm just going to have to spend those points anyway, so I might as well drive hard. Alright, there we go. So, Pick, we're going to try to take it easy, and I think Pick can just make it with 2 standard pit stops. Alright, so Calderon gets to start first, and Pascal Verline, if you've watched Formula 1, you'd know who this is. Pascal Verline got picked up by Racing Engineering, who were the relegated team from Formula 2, and I pick him to win this race. He gets to start 2nd place. He's probably going to win this thing by 30 seconds or more. Their other driver, Delatraz, was in our conference, in our division last year, and I don't expect much from him. There's going to be a pretty big gap between those 2 drivers on that team. There's a clear number 1 driver. Prima Racing is another one that was pretty competitive, but it's going to be interesting to see if Mick Schumacher's still on the squad. There's Joel Eriksson still. Callum Lott was one that we were neck and neck with a lot. There's our 2 drivers way at the back of the field, and Mick Schumacher is gone, so he did get picked up by a higher division. I'm certain there's no way that he is unsigned right now. Quality driver. And if you don't know, Mick Schumacher is the son of Michael Schumacher. Alright, race is underway, and here's that new feature this year. This is the ERS management system. Quinn and Pick both moving up here at the start early on. So a good start from our cars. But now, a few turns in, the other car's better ability, better performance is showing. We are in the back of the field amongst the handful of cars that are on the medium tires, while most everybody else, besides Aquino, are all running on the softs. They're going to have to pit a little bit earlier, which could give us a little bit of a bonus. It looks like our ERS is gaining energy pretty slowly, and this is when we activate. So our only choices are to activate when we want and when it's available. Alright, well, no surprise, Pascal Wehrlein has moved up to first place. Nope, no, let's keep that on high. Let's just turn this down a little bit. So Quinn has now slipped to 19th, so we are in our natural position, 19th and 20th place already. Unlike our other races throughout the year, we will likely be starting from the front as it's reverse order of standings, and pretty sure we're going to be in the back end of the standings throughout most of the season. Pick got as high as 16th place out of 20 in the standings last year, but did end up finishing 19th, with Quinn 20th all season long, from the first race to the last. Alright, Quinn's a bit ahead right now, but Quinn's also running a lot harder than Pick is. Yeah, maybe I should back off because Quinn's not good at passing anyway. I'm just burning extra fuel and putting more wear and tear. I'm assuming that I'm probably going to have to do some part fixes for Quinn. I'm hoping many cars are going to have to stop for part fixes, and that Pick can get ahead of a number of cars by not having to do that. However, Pick is already, 3.5 seconds behind Quinn, and that's not good. If they have an extra, 10 seconds to stop, well, we're more than 10 seconds down, we're not going to gain that time. So this starting position really hurt us, but even more so, our poor performance right now might not make those possible advantages anything for us. Now, both cars are okay on their ERS right now. I might use Quinn's here on this stretch. It's a pretty good stretch where, let's see how long it lasts. Yeah, it burns it up pretty quick. And not much visibly improved by it. We gotta remember to use picks here at some point, maybe on this lap before it gets full. There we go, coming off that corner. Just gets them down that straight and then gets them sped back up through those back curves. Alright, well, Paragon has crashed. So there's one car out of this race. Bonus for us. And Quinn's going to have to pit here pretty soon. Just over 2 laps of fuel remain. And we're below that 2 mark now. So one more lap and Quinn's going to be coming in. We are running the last 2 spots on the grid as his first round of pit stops get underway. We're making it to lap 8 right now, so it's going to be 8 laps that Quinn is able to go, and that's actually not enough. 8, 16, 24, and it's a 25 lap race. So Quinn is definitely going to have to do a little something here to make it to the end. Car parts are actually looking really good so far. Oh, I can surge. I wonder how much time that's going to use. It adds 4 seconds to the pit stop. That's not worth it at all. Okay, so we're definitely not going to charge the battery. And Quinn's going to be in the back of this field. So we're actually even going to go with safe. No risk. though I've seen this still result in a mistake. So 2 extra seconds. And Quinn's going to come in this time. Meanwhile, Pick really needs to come in too because of the tire condition, but it's going to have to be this next lap, even though there's enough fuel to go a couple more. And the tires are the ones not making it to the end. Alright, we'll go for that full tank. Definitely not adding any time. And we'll take a normal balanced stop, 13 seconds. Pick is our only hope of beating anybody on track, even though Pick was behind Quinn on the track. Alright, I wasn't paying attention to the stop, but there was no mistakes. And Pick is coming around this time. Just got passed by a car that's already come out of the pits. Which means we're that far behind a lot of cars. Alright, refueling and done. No mistakes. Alright, first round of pit stops was mistake free. Quinn is still just ahead of Pick on the track. We are not the back 2 cars. Ericsson looks like they probably already had to fix a part. As look how far Joel Ericsson is back, and I don't know where they were in the standings when they went in, but I remember that Ericsson was in the middle of the pack when they started anyway. Alright, ERS is looking like it's about full, so we're going to use that up. And we'll do that on the next lap for Pick. Okay, here we go, Pick's coming around. Requires me to go a little bit slower on these races too, with trying to manage the ERS as well. So it's a little bit more on the micromanagement side. So one car in their lengthy pit stop has already benefited us, gained us 1 position, and a crash has gained us 1 position. We should hopefully start to see some of the cars be affected by part conditions. If we look at Pick, Pick is struggling a little bit. Gearbox is below 50%, but I think we might make it till the end of the race. Okay, but you look here at Quinn, and look how many parts are already struggling, even though we just passed the halfway point. Alright, so Quinn's down to 44% on the tires. We'll have to pit pretty soon, but there's still a few laps left in terms of fuel, and I definitely need to get past lap 16 before coming in if I'm going to get to the end, which is still going to be a 9-lap run and pretty challenging to make. But I have a feeling Pick's going to have to pit before that to repair some parts. Alright, there we go. And, looking at that, we got 2 laps worth of fuel and might be able to make that 9th lap this time around. Alright, so Anthony's pitting and fixing parts. So is Dennis. We might be able to get ahead of both of them. And there goes Quinn and Pick. Alright, and Quinn's down to nothing on the tires and the fuel, so it's going to be this time. You look at our spot on the track, we've got less than 1 lap to go, so Quinn's going to be okay there. Alright, we definitely need the tires to go to the end. Oh, Quinn's only on lap 7. Okay, 17. Yeah, this is the ninth lap around. 8 more after this. Which we don't need extra fuel. 8 laps remaining after the pit stop, so that's perfect. And we definitely have parts that are in questionable condition. But for now, no warnings. We're going to save the time, no risk. Going to safe stop. I just noticed we got to 98% on the setup. So those little tweaks we made were well worth it. All right, Dennis had a very long pit stop. Ericsson still needs to pit. Quinn's coming in this time. And he's in now. Jacks are good. Tire change is good. And fueling is good. Quinn comes out in 17th place. Ericsson is pitting and fixing parts, presumably once again. 82%. I need to use my ERS. There we go. And here is Pick at 21%. Where are we on the track? Coming up on pit row. Just got passed, so already slowing down. Should probably pit now and not wait a lap, especially with that, how many laps are left. What's the condition? I think Pick's going to be okay to the end. I don't want to go to those lesser tires. There's a huge drop off between them. Okay, 6 laps after the pit stop, 6 laps of fuel. And 9 seconds for the stop. Alright, Pick into the pits for the final time. And here we go. Quinn's starting to pop up messages. We're going to ignore that one for now. And Pick comes out just a little bit behind Quinn. Kind of where they've been at all race long. Neck and neck, but a handful of seconds apart. There's 2 more pit stops. They're both coming out ahead of our drivers. And they had no part fixes. Alright, everybody's done 2 pits now. Okay, so looking at it, Dennis and Ericsson, who have both gone in for part fixes. Dennis is actually gaining, coming up on Pick now. So here's Dennis right here. Definitely a faster car, even though their tire wear is far beyond where we're at. I do have excess fuel. And only a handful of laps, so let's go ahead and run hard. Well, 4 laps is a lot. Maybe we need to... Dennis just flew right by us like we were standing still. And Dennis is probably going to go right past Quinn in the same manner. What I need is some cars taking a 3rd stop to work on their cars. What we need to do here is keep an eye on Quinn's parts. And there you go. They just dropped quite a bit. Brakes are down to 9%. I think it is time we bring in Quinn, who is in the back of the field. Anyway, there's only 1 car behind them, so we're only going to give up a single position on track. We can bring on better tires. Fuel's already good. And we can fix our parts. This is going to be a long pit stop. But if we fix all the parts right now, we're going to have a lot less time after this race is done spent fixing parts. And I'm only giving up 1 position to do this, so I might as well, and we're going to play it safe. There we go, 143 seconds. Quinn's going to be in there for well over 2 minutes for this pit stop, but we're going to get this car fixed up right. There is our teammate flying on... Oh, that wasn't our teammate. That was Dennis, who we noticed before. There goes Quinn in. Pit stop good so far. 6 parts to repair. Brakes up first. Now the engine. Meanwhile, here is Pick, who has apparently already been lapped. 2nd place car just went by. Still in the pits. 80 seconds so far. 2 cars retired. There you go. There's Quinn's best chance. We need to get Quinn back out there if we're going to get those positions, though, as Quinn is still in hits, surprisingly, a long time. It was 130 seconds. Now, race hard. But save that engine. Alright, so here is Pick just moved ahead of these two cars, Carroll and Chikaro. I'm not sure if Quinn's going to get past those two as far back as Quinn is. We have one more lap to go. And we have enough, and we're not going to have an issue with fuel or parts here, so Pick's going to push for the end. If we get lucky, somebody's going to have a problem and we get past him. Leader's about to cross the line though. There we go, and so we'll be ending our race a little early, a lap down. 15th though, not the worst finish ever. Quinn, meanwhile, will Quinn pass these two cars on this last corner? Yes, okay, well done. Quinn jumps to 17th with a fixed car. Got ahead of those three cars thanks to retirements due to the quality of their parts, which Quinn probably would have retired if we hadn't gone in and fixed those parts. So that actually worked out pretty well, and that wraps up our first race of the season. We've gone from a 9-race season to a 10-race season thanks to a rule change, adding another track. But I'll race through the second race, and I'll see you for race number 3 next week. So that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record.